Hello, my name is Tara Ron Sabin, and we're going to just skip the credentials bit because this is a TLDW video for those with the shorter attention spans or those who don't love my rambling that I tend to do. Although if you watched the whole first video that this will be based on, that's great. You can also watch this one. I don't know, watch it while you brush your teeth or whatever. I don't actually know how long this is going to be. I just said I wasn't going to ramble. Also, it is pitch black at 6 p.m. and has been for an hour and a half, so that is why it looks a little bit like a hostage video. I have every light in my house on. Anyway, let's get to the main points of my video on arousal. There have been a ton of sexual scientists working on how to best model sexual arousal for a long time, but the most current and the best model, in my opinion, and the opinion of, I don't know, lots of other people who are probably smarter than me, some of them, is Emily Nagoski's dual control model. Now, if you want a really thorough explanation of her dual control model, you should, probably read her book, Come As You Are, or watch my last video. It has my face in it. Her book does not, although it is a good book. You should read it. I actually recommend it to everyone I meet. The dual control model describes arousal as working as a series of accelerants and inhibitors, sort of like the gas and brakes of a car. Accelerants, or what's hitting our gas, are things that turn us on. So whether that's physiological or psychological or external factors. And then the things that are inhibiting us or hitting the brakes are things that are preventing us from being turned on or actively turning us off. Now that could be stress. For a lot of people, it's stress, but it could also be external factors or chemical factors like medication side effects. The thing about sexual arousal is that a lot of people assume there's something physically wrong with them if they aren't experiencing sexual arousal in the same way they're assuming other people are experiencing sexual arousal, like if they're way hornier than everyone around them or feel a lot less sexual than their peers. But it's just a matter of personal gas and brakes. Some people have much more sensitive gas pedals, some people have much more sensitive brake pedals, and we all have different life experiences. The body's physiological response to arousal is all about creating blood flow to the genitals. That means dilated pupils, increased heart rates, sweaty palms, hard nipples, erect penises, wet vulvas. But importantly, we should note that sometimes our minds and our bodies aren't on the same page. This is what we call arousal non-concordance. Sometimes we may be super mentally turned on, but our body's just not reacting. This doesn't mean that we are broken or sick or something's wrong with us. It just means that we need to be trying something a little different at that given time. And it also happens the opposite way. Sometimes our body reacts to sensory input even if we aren't necessarily turned on or even if we actively aren't wanting to respond to that input. Having a physiological response can often make those who have gone through sexual assault feel as if they have done something wrong. But regardless of what your body does, if you didn't consent, you didn't consent, and you are not ever responsible for something that someone did to you instead of with you. Lots of chemicals are involved in feeling turned on. People who ovulate have peaks in luteinizing hormone and estrogen timed with drops in progesterone that lead you into horny overdrive. And testosterone is super critical for sexual arousal. Studies show that the spikes in testosterone that hit at puberty are what create the onset of sexual motivation. And testosterone is why we instinctively want to make out. When we swap spit, we're also swapping testosterone, which makes us all aroused. Actually, having sex involves a lot of hormones as well. The big three are serotonin, oxytocin, and dopamine. Oxytocin is the love chemical. It helps create emotional bonds and also increases your pain threshold. Serotonin makes you feel calm and satisfied and sleepy. And dopamine is the big pleasure hit you get from having sex, but also from listening to music and dancing and eating sugar. It's super important for focus and concentration and task completion, and I have to buy mine at the store. There's been debate forever about the fundamental differences between men versus women. Do we know the answer? No. Will we ever know the answer? No. Do we have brain scans that show that men and women's brains react exactly the same to sexual stimuli? Yeah, actually, we do. In a meta-analysis of 61 different brain imaging studies, the scans showed that there are a lot of things that affect how much our brains light up when shown pornography, but our biological sex isn't one of them. Things that do are things like sexual orientation, still images versus moving images, personal taste, cultural influence, and yeah, our brain is only one aspect of this huge thing called arousal, but our brain's actually, pretty important in the scheme of things, right? Okay, what was my time? Was anyone keeping track? I don't wear a watch. Do we like these recap videos of my longer videos for those who only read the Cliff Notes in school? I see you. I can make more of these after all the rest of my rambly videos in the future, but I won't know unless you let me know. So like and comment and, I don't know, DM me on Instagram if you're shy, and tell me what you think. I can't read your mind. Or can I? I can. Not over YouTube anyway. Okay. Bye.